listening to the Top Music Guitar Podcast, the show for guitar teachers to learn about the craft of teaching great guitar lessons that students love. If you're looking to start or expand your studio and make guitar teaching your full-time dream job, you've come to the right place. Each week, you'll get to hear from some of the top guitar teachers from around the globe and get their best tips and experiences so you too can build your own dream studio. I'm your host, Michael, and I've founded one of the top guitar schools in Australia, written a best-selling curriculum, and I mentor guitar teachers. I'm excited to share my expertise with you and the wisdom of all the experts we interview. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's get into it. Hello there guys, it's Michael here and welcome to another episode of our Top Music Guitar Teaching Podcast. Today I'm going to do a solo episode and I'm literally firing from the hip on a topic of my choice, which was just having a chat with someone the other day on Facebook, and I asked him if he was a guitar teacher after he added me and just making polite conversation, and this person said, no, I'm a guitar player and I'm working towards 10,000 hours. And I thought, yes, the 10,000 hour myth. And I actually asked him, I said, hey, well, how far into it are you? And he goes, I'm about 5,287 hours in. Fantastic. This guy is keeping track of everything, which is really, really great. So there is this rule, and I think the author Robert Greene talks about it in a book called Mastery, that you need to spend 10,000 hours at something to become a true master or a true expert. And I think it's something which, if you go on YouTube, I get videos all the time popping up about master guitar or 10,000 hour practice video diary or video journal. And I can guarantee that if you practice something for 10,000 hours, you're probably going to get really, really good at it. But I'm also an advocate of having more efficient learning processes and more efficient practice processes as well. So I reckon that 80-20 principle, yes, the 10,000 hours will definitely get you there, but that is a lot of time. We're talking decades for most people to reach that amount of practice. We'll do some mathematical figures for you a little bit later because it's by no means a small undertaking, and you can really significantly underestimate how long it actually takes to accumulate 10,000 hours of practice. But I'm a big advocate of the 80-20 principle. If we work really, really efficiently on core essential topics, then can we master the guitar with as little as 2,000 hours? I would even say that if we don't learn absolutely everything there is to guitar, if we just focus on a small area such as blues guitar playing or fingerstyle playing or heavy metal playing, shredding, we can get significantly better at guitar and really good results. Maybe does it qualify as mastery? We may be talking semantics here, but you can improve dramatically just by focusing 20 hours in one area or one skill, and then 100 hours in one area or one skill. So yes, I think it's a great milestone to work towards, 10,000 hours, but this person seemed to be stuck up on the fact that he needed to get to 10,000 hours before he could teach guitar. And I know some of you listening at home, maybe guitar players who are thinking about getting into teaching, but not feeling like you're good enough. And my story started once upon a time when my guitar teacher said, hey, when you finish high school, you should do some part-time teaching and obviously go into a classroom job. So even before I'd finished high school, I was teaching a few friends. Was I a good teacher back then? No. You got to break a few eggs if you're going to be a chef. And unfortunately, many of my early students were guinea pigs. And I don't think I've given anyone bad advice. I would say that. However, where I was lacking wasn't in the advice I gave, just my approach to conveying information or realizing that not everyone's going to be obsessive like you. So let's just run some numbers about 10,000 hours. So I've got a calculator up here. And if we do 10,000, if we practice for 1 hour a day, it's going to take us 10,000 days to get there. So nice, easy math. So what's 10,000 divided by 365? That's 27 years. So if you practice guitar for an hour a day, every single day, and you don't miss a single day, it's going to take you 27 years, 27.39. So 27 and a third years to master guitar, whatever that actually means. If we go back to 2000 and we practice 2 hours a day, 10,000 hours divided by 2, we're back to 5,000. Divide that by 365. Still going to take us 13 years to master the guitar. And of course, if we get 3,334 hours, 3 hours a day, I'd say most people aren't going to practice more than 3 hours a day consistently for the majority of their life. I think myself in that teenage phase, it was definitely 3 to 6 hours a day, loving every minute of it. Steve Vai's got the 10-hour a day workout, which he did for a year or so. I don't think he ever did that on a long-term ongoing basis. And there's a certain amount of skill and technique that you get where, you no longer need to practice that, or you're just woodshedding. You can only work out in a gym for so long before you fatigue, or so many hours in a day before you mentally switch off. So 3,364, we're going to divide that by 3,065. If you practice 3 hours a day, it's still going to take you about 9 years to master the guitar. Now, do I consider myself a master? No, there's so much room for improvement, and there's so many areas of playing. Maybe Guthrie Govan is someone who's truly mastered the guitar in terms of I've never seen someone get so good at so many different areas of playing or styles or genres. John Petrucci is perfection when it comes to a progressive rock, heavy metal guitar player. We obviously have very different, what looks like mastery of fingerstyle or classical music is very different to mastery of jazz and jazz improvisation and mastery of shredding. So, is there really one perfect guitar player? We can probably point at a few people, but truly mastering the guitar, is a lifelong pursuit, and that will probably go beyond 10,000 hours or 27 years. But as we found just running those numbers, 10,000 hours, 1 hour a day, never missing a day, is a 27-year commitment. If you stick with guitar playing for 27 years, you will well and truly be much better at it. Will you be a master? Who knows? I get tons and tons of guitar players who've been playing for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years sometimes, but they've been stuck at the same level for 30 of those 50 years or 5 of those 10 years. So the idea that I would introduce you to, rather than think in quantity, I have to get 10,000 hours, you should be thinking about quality. How can I make the most of my practice? Am I improving on everything in the time that I have? It is much better to practice for a good, solid, focused 10 to 20 minutes on one topic in a way that helps you move the ball forward and you're playing and improve than it is to spend a whole hour running over things with Facebook in the background, your mobile phone going off, just looking up songs and building repertoire without actually improving anything about what you're doing. So unless you're practicing with intent, unless you're practicing in a way that helps you become better by the end of it, you're not actually improving anything. And just like fitness or going to the gym, if you train yourself to run for a kilometer and then every day you only run a kilometer, you don't actually improve or gain the ability to run 2 kilometers or 10 kilometers. Everyone's going to be slightly different in terms of their natural endurance and how far beyond they can do that. But once you can run for 1 kilometer, can you go for 1.2, 1.5, 2 kilometers, and then 3, and then 5, and then 10, and then 20, and then 50, and then 100? You keep on pushing the boundary. As soon as you hit one threshold, whether that's in fitness, in weightlifting, in running, creativity, improvisation, speed, whatever you're trying to do, once you get to a certain threshold, you either make a decision to maintain and just keep doing what you're doing to stay at the same level, or you change something about what you're doing, or you reach for the next level. Yes, I've mastered my blues guitar playing. Awesome, let's go explore jazz guitar. There's something else to go out and do. So when it comes to mastery or 10,000 hours, yeah, it's really cool to play 10,000 hours. But if you've wasted 70% of your time just noodling around and not being focused or not having a proper routine to help you make the most out of it and get the most improvement you can, then you might only have 2,000 good hours. So why not just aim for 2,000 good hours where you're really focused and get the same amount of progress and shave years off the amount of time that it takes good. So if we just assumed we practiced for an hour a day and we did maybe 3 focused practice sessions. We practiced for 20 minutes in the morning. We practiced for 20 minutes as soon as we got home from work or on our lunch break. And then we did 20 minutes before bed. And all we did was focus on one thing and improving that one thing. Now, it could be 3 different topics, one thing per 20 minutes. So if we practice an hour a day and we're aiming for 2,000 hours now, because it's really focused practice, 2,000 divided by 365 is going to be 5.5 years, essentially. You are going to be significantly better in 5.5 years of good, solid, focused practice than you are going to be in 27 years of mucking around. That's why people get stuck at the same level. That's why they get frustrated. That's why they just learn the same old songs over and over again or practice the same old licks, because they're not doing anything differently. They don't have any intent behind their practice. They're not doing something to move the ball forward. So as guitar teachers, This is what you need to do for your students. You need to dispel myths about a quantity of practice. And sometimes strictly going for quantity can be good, or it can be better than nothing, having the goal to practice for an hour. But most people don't have a full hour to commit to guitar and learning. Hey there guys, it's Michael here with a quick message from Top Music. Are you a passionate guitar teacher looking for tips to make lessons more fun and engaging for your students? Maybe you're struggling to grow your business and need help getting more students to take lessons with you. Maybe you're a guitar player who wants to get out of a day job and make music your full-time gig with some teaching on the side. If you found yourself saying yes, then look no further than a membership with us at Top Music Guitar. Top Music is a place music teachers can come together from all over the world to share ideas, develop both their teaching skills and their business knowledge, and receive advice from industry experts. You'll get access to over 20 courses for guitar teachers and a host of general music teaching resources that will help you have a bigger impact on your students, teach better lessons, and of course, make you more money. For less than the price of what you charge for a private lesson, $49 per month, you'll get access to everything you need to bring your studio to life and become the best teacher you can be. Join now at www.topmusicguitar.com. Now, back to the podcast. Most people struggle to find an hour, and that's a misconception which you should address. Rather than want your students to have a full hour for practicing guitar, help them see that, hey, can you get 3 lots of 20, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one before bed? Can you do 4 lots of 15? Can you do 6 lots of 10 minutes? You can be amazed at what you can actually do with 5 minutes of good, solid practice. And for the more intermediate and advanced level players, once they accumulate so much knowledge, it becomes a matter of, wow, I've learned so many things. What do I actually practice here? Because there's more hours in it. There's more things I need to practice than there are hours in a day to practice all of them considerably well. And that's, again, where people learn a bunch of topics, only focus on them for 2 or 3 days or whatever until they drop off the ball, get bored with it and look up another YouTube video and then come up with something else. And I think what we're going to see is kind of 2 schools. There's going to be a bunch of guitar players who are super dedicated and disciplined to focus on a small number of things and get good at them. And then we're going to see a whole plague of YouTube taught guitar players who they know a lot of things, or they know about everything, but they can't play it and they can't execute and they can't connect all the dots. And this is something we get all the time as guitar teachers. I've been playing for a while, been teaching myself from YouTube or DVDs or online lessons, and I just can't make it connect. And they fall into the trap of saying, I'll buy one more DVD, or I'll watch one more video, or I'll learn one more scale. And they accumulate all this knowledge of different things, but they can't make it musical. They can't bring it to life in their playing. They don't have the muscle memory because they haven't focused on it. So the main thing is narrowing it down, 80-20 principle. Whoever is in front of me, if they are a blues player, what are the core 20% of skills that you would use 80% of the time as a blues player? You help your students focus on those skills, 1 to 3 skills per week for a couple of weeks, or until they master those basic skills. Then what's the intermediate level of that skill? What's the advanced level of that skill? Narrow the focus down, help them get more out of less. Here's a topic. Let's really drill this and make sure you know it well and truly, that it's muscle memory, that you know the concept inside out. And let's spend 20 hours on that concept. And then let's go learn another concept and spend 20 hours on it. Less is more, 80-20 principle. You will help them improve by leaps and bounds with that focus. We're going to practice 3 topics this week for 20 minutes each. This is what you need to learn, and this is how you need to practice. For your 20-minute practice session, focus on this for 5 minutes, focus on this for 5 minutes, focus on this for 5 minutes, focus on this for 5 minutes. You've given them a couple of different focus points, maybe 3 or 4 different drills to work on. There's no way they can't improve. Think of it like a workout. If you go to the gym, Monday is arms day. You're going to do bicep curls. You're going to do triceps. I know you don't do biceps. For all the gym junkies listening at home, who are going to call me out on saying we've got push-pull days, not necessarily arm and leg days and things like that. But let's just say we're doing bicep curls, we're doing a low row, and we're doing a tricep extension, and we do that day 1. There are 3 exercises to help make our arms bigger. We've got the macro goal, make our arms bigger. We've got 3 exercises to help do that. So if the goal is more fluent scales playing, let's have 3 mini exercises that contribute to that. Could be metronome practice for 5 minutes. It could be making up phrases for 5 minutes. It might be repeating a particular exercise while trying to make sure we keep our hand movement small for 5 minutes. The exercise is arbitrary. Day 2 in the gym is leg day. We're going to do a squat, we're going to do a deadlift, and we're going to do a calf extension. Whatever the exercise is arbitrary. That could be whatever topic number 2 is. So if you have a really strict exercise plan that tells you, what weight to use, how many reps to go for, or how long to spend on each exercise, you can't not improve by following the exercise plan and doing the work. If we do too light a weight, I'm just about to contradict myself, but the follow-up to that is at some point we're going to max out. We can do 10 reps easy. Okay, time to go from the 5 kilo dumbbells to the 7.5 kilo dumbbells. We're going to do 6 reps, 8 reps, 10 reps, 12 reps. Cool. We've maxed out. Let's go to the 10 kilo dumbbells. So that's why people don't get results is after a certain point of going to the gym, if you're doing bicep curls with, 5 kilo dumbbells, it'll get to the point where you can do 100 and it doesn't fatigue you at all. Unless you go to the 7.5, the 10, the 15, the 20, and you start increasing the resistance, the amount of weight you're lifting, it's not going to cross that threshold of fatigue and stress on your muscles and your body in order to help you grow. If you only run a kilometer, your body will adjust to running a kilometer. You won't burn any extra weight because you're not doing the work to burn the calories. You won't build up your endurance because you're not keeping your heart rate high for longer periods of time. It's not until you, do go from a 10-minute run to a 15-minute run to a 20-minute run, do you keep on increasing the difficulty in the threshold. So you need to have your finger on the pulse of the practice. And to bring this one in for landing, when you are helping your students, ask them, what are your goals? Cool, you want to be a blues guitar player. Here are the essential things, the 20% of topics we need as a blues player, we're going to use 80% of the time. We're going to focus on these 3 for the first week or the first month or however long it takes to get roughly 20 hours on that topic, and the student really knows it. And then we help them move forward. And in the next round, whether that's the next month or the next week or however long it takes, we do the next 3 topics, then the next 3. They'll eventually get 100 hours into their blues playing and they'll sound really good because they've been really, really focused. And if we can get that good habit of having really small bursts of highly focused, attentive practice, they're going to become unstoppable. More importantly, if you can help them think that way about their own practice, it'll significantly shave down the amount of time they spend practicing and they'll get much more mileage out of it. When they can see results, they're happy. When they're happy, they're motivated. When they're motivated, they practice. When they practice, they sound good. They're happy, they're motivated, they sound good. They're happy, they're motivated, they practice, they sound good. We get them in this circle of positivity where they just keep getting better and better and better and better and better every single time. And that's how you create unstoppable students. If you've got me on Instagram at Michael Gumley, I'm constantly posting videos of my gun students, 9-year-olds playing Eruption by Van Halen, 12-year-olds shredding up a storm, adult students of all ages doing really, really fancy tapping stuff. And yes, I lean towards hard rock, heavy metal playing and the kind of party tricks that you teach your guitar players to do. But we're not waiting 5 or 6 years for them to get really good at guitar. We're getting people very, very good from day one because we're focusing on the core skills and we're showing them how to practice efficiently. Adults aren't going to want to spend an hour every day. They might, for the first 3 weeks when they're really motivated and inspired, but then they'll miss a day or two, they'll drop the ball. We've all experienced that where we get thrown off of our routine and we're not going to want to practice. We're not going to want to show up. Or if we're busy, I got 20 minutes, but I don't have an hour, so I'm just going to scroll on Facebook rather than actually pick up my guitar and play. So if you can help your students understand the concept that a good 10 to 20 minutes is better than a whole hour, and throughout the day, it's far easier to find blocks of 10 to 20 minutes than it is to find a full hour. So just make the most of the time that you have. That will go a long way towards helping them practice more efficiently. With the younger students, tell the parents they don't need to practice an hour every single day. Just 10 to 15 minutes if they're under the age of 12, 15 to 30 minutes if they're over the age of 12 of guitar playing. If they can do that 3 times a week, fantastic. And yeah, it's going to take us a long time to get to those 10,000 hours, but I guarantee you, if you can help your students have a really good 200 hours, that'll be outstanding. And the faster you get them to those 200 hours, the better, because they will get better sooner. Once they get to 2,000 hours with good solid practice, they will be better than most people with 10,000 hours of experience who have had unfocused attention while they practice, who just noodle, who just go on Ultimate Guitar or YouTube and look up a song tutorial. Yes, those people are going to be good players eventually. Anyone who sticks with guitar long enough will eventually get good. But if you go to the gym and you just keep on curling the really light weights, you're not going to see any improvement. You're not going to push past your comfort zone. You're just going to maintain the same level for years, decades, I don't know, not quite centuries, but multiple decades. And I've had guitar students come in who've been playing for 20 years and feel like they haven't made any improvement in 15 of those 20 years. And I'm sure you've come across it too. What's the best way to help them? To outline a clear path to follow, really good, effective practice habits and routines, and then to set them up for success. So that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think we'll explore this topic a little bit sooner because it's a great topic, but myth busted. I don't think you need 10,000 hours. If you have 10,000 focus hours, you'll be an absolute beast on the guitar. So if you do focus, you'll be absolutely unstoppable if you're that kind of player. But at the end of the day, even with 3 hours a day practice, which is for most people the limit of maintaining focus over extended periods of time, then yes, you will get very, very good. And that's why so many hotshots, go from 0 to 100 miles an hour. They get really good because they're super motivated and they are super focused. But with the average person we're trying to help, 20, 30 minutes 3 times a day is fantastic. And even with an hour a day, it's still going to take most people 27 years to get to 10,000 hours. So don't worry about the quantity, guy. Just focus on, if you're practicing for yourself, just focus on quality of practice, not the quantity. Focus on the quality and just do the best you can there. And of course, if you're a guitar player listening to this, go and find a great teacher because they're going to tell you all the same thing. Reset your expectations. I don't need to practice quantity, but I will focus on quality. At the end of the day, the quantity will win out in the long run or get you there in the long run. There's no disputing that. But why take 27 years to go from A to B when you can do it in 5.5? That's just my 2 cents, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Hey there, guys. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Top Music Guitar Teaching Podcast. If you have any questions about anything we discussed on the podcast, reach out to me at michael@topmusic.co via email. If you want to guest on the show because you're doing some wonderful things in the teaching space, I would love to hear from you. Or if you've got any suggestions for guests or topics we can discuss, as always, you know where to find me. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is our Top Music Guitar Teaching membership. We have over 1,000 members at Top Music, and that is a huge community of people that you can connect with online, share wonderful teaching tips, and of course, network with. We've also got over 20 courses for music teachers, 12 special ones for guitar on every topic imaginable, from group teaching, private teaching, how to find more students, how to build websites, everything you could possibly want to need to know about teaching, building a business, and getting more students is covered. And you get access to all of this for $49, probably less than what you charge for a 1-hour private lesson every single month. So don't miss out on this awesome opportunity. Visit our website, www.topmusicguitar.com, and join us in the membership. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.